All right, guys, we are going to talk about a new story today, but don't worry, I will review the old vocabulary words with you. But let's go on to the new story. This gets a little bit, gets more and more exciting as we go on. Again, we are in our Greek mythology month. We will be doing this story and then another one, and perhaps yet another one. So, to introduce you to Greek mythology, okay? All right, good. So today we are going to talk about uh, the story of Narcissus and Echo. Part one. There are two parts to the story. Okay, it's too long, so I cut it in half so that we can do one part and then the other. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this video about 20 minutes, so that you can it's still short enough for you to watch it. Okay. All right. Good. Narcissus and Echo. In the time when the world was ruled by the gods of Mount Olympus, a nymph, Liriope, gave birth to a son named Narcissus, who was gifted with perfect beauty. A fortune teller warned Liriope that her son was condemned to never look upon himself, for if he did, he would meet his end. When Narcissus became a young man, all who saw him fell deeply in love with him. But Narcissus was arrogant and cruelly rejected all their advances. One day, Narcissus went hunting in the woods. He was seen by Echo, who had secluded herself in the woods after being punished by Hera. Echo immediately fell deeply in love with him, mesmerized by his perfect beauty. She followed Narcissus as he made his way through the woods. Okay, I'll read it again, and this time I'll add some explanations. Okay. So, in the time when the world was ruled by the gods of Mount Olympus, this is the same time as Zeus, Hera, Echo. Okay, right? A nymph, Liriope. Okay, this is how you spell her, how you say her name, Liriope. All right, so L, Ri, A, P. It's just the name, but it happens to be the easiest way to say that name. Okay, if you say Liriope or something like that, it's harder to say. So it kind of settles down. It settles into this vying Liriope. Okay, it's a beautiful name, but don't use it for. Don't name somebody a Liriope because it has. Well, anyway, all right, it's a girl name. All right, so in the time when the world was ruled by the gods of Mount Olympus, a nymph, Liriope, gave birth to a son. She had a son named Narcissus. Narcissus. Nar, just say Nar and then Sissus. Sissus. Okay, Narcissus. Named Narcissus, who was gifted with perfect beauty. He was the most handsome person that you can imagine. So handsome, he was perfect. His, he was so handsome that no one could be more handsome than he was. Okay, he was gifted with perfect beauty. A fortune teller. Remember what a fortune teller is? A fortune teller is somebody who tells you what will happen in the future. A seer. Okay. A fortune teller warned Liriope, right, that her son was condemned to never look upon himself. So the fortune teller said, your son is cursed, is condemned to never see himself. never look upon himself, to look at himself. For if he did, he would meet his end. He would die. Okay. When Narcissus became a young man, all who saw him fell deeply in love with him. Nymphs, princesses, women, even men, okay, who saw him deeply fell in love with him. But Narcissus was arrogant. 鼻子长在头上 whatever, you know, he was arrogant, he was 自大, okay, he thought he was the best, he was arrogant. And he cruelly rejected all their advances. So he didn't reject them like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, but I don't love you. He just like, go away, you know, I don't, no, you know, no way you can have me. I'm, you know, right? You cannot even, you're not even fit to look at me. Okay, so he was arrogant and he cruelly, okay, in a mean way, rejected all their advances. Advances has many meanings. Advances here means their 追求, right? I'll explain that later. One day, Narcissus went hunting in the woods. He liked to hunt. Okay, he was seen by Echo. Remember Echo, who had secluded herself in the woods after being punished by Hera. This part you know. Echo sees him. Echo immediately fell in love, deeply in love with him. Mesmerized, 被迷上 by his perfect beauty, 被他的 perfect beauty 迷上, right? Mesmerized by his perfect beauty, she followed Narcissus as he made his way through the woods. So she started to follow him because she couldn't help it. He was so handsome. She had to follow him. Okay, all right. So Narcissus and Echo. All right, good. Let's look at some of these words in more detail, and then we'll go on. Okay. So in the time when the world was ruled by the gods of Mount Olympus, a nymph, you know what a nymph is, Liriope, gave birth to a son named Narcissus, who was gifted with perfect beauty. So perfect means flawless, right? Maybe you don't know this word, but flawless just means 完美的. 完美的 beauty, with flawless beauty. Okay, 没有缺陷, flawless beauty. Okay. Let me see. Let's do this one. I don't know, whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. Gifted with flawless beauty. A fortune teller, remember what a fortune teller is? A fortune teller is like what we call like a seer. A seer, right? A person who can see. Okay, a seer, right? A person who could see the future. Okay, a person who could see the seer of the future, right? You know, you go to 六合夜市, you can get a fortune teller to say, oh, 你以后会怎样, right? Right? A seer, warned, cautioned. These are 同义字, I'll tell you the Chinese, right? 警告, right? A fortune teller warned Liriope that her son, Narcissus, was condemned to never look upon himself. So even though he had this gift of perfect beauty, doesn't mirror. So you know, it's like you have something good, you're gonna have something bad, right? That's, you see this all the time in Greek mythology. There's no such thing as perfect. He had perfect beauty, but his 缺陷 was he cannot look at himself. That was his weakness. That was his 弱点, right? Weakness. So the fortune teller warned Liriope that her son was condemned, excuse me, to never look upon himself. For if he did, for if means 如果他这么做的话, 如果怎样的话. That's what in English, very easy, just 2 words for if. Okay? So, because if he did, that's what it means. Okay? So, because if he did, that's what it means. Because if he did, for if he did, he would meet his end. He would end, he would finish, he would die. When Narcissus became a young man, all who saw him fell deeply in love with him. Okay? There were nymphs who fell in love with him, women, princesses, right? 公主, right? Queens, okay? Anybody who saw him, even men, other young men, okay? Because long ago in the time of the Greeks, they didn't really think about love as 男女之间. They thought about love 男男女女 same. Okay, so homosexuality in ancient Greece, in 古代的 Greece, was very normal. Okay, so so even what do you guys call it now? You call it BL, right? Boy love, whatever. Okay, that was very normal back in the day of ancient Greece. Okay, so all who saw him fell deeply in love with him. Okay, right? There's even another story of Narcissus where a boy his friend had fallen in love with him, and again Narcissus cruelly rejected him, and then the boy committed suicide, right? Killed himself. Okay, committed suicide, like the human lightning rod, right? Okay, all right. So when Narcissus became a young man, all who saw him fell deeply in love with him. But Narcissus was arrogant. Was arrogant. Okay, he thought he was that he was better than everybody else. Thought he was the best. In other words, 自大. 自大. He was arrogant. Okay. I'm the most handsome person in the world. Okay. So Narcissus was arrogant. And he cruelly means in a very sort of a 残忍的 way, right? Yeah. Okay, very unkind. Okay? Unkind in a unkindly way, unkind way, I should say. Okay? Right? And unkindly, okay, rejected all their advances. He didn't say, "Oh, sorry, but I don't love you." He said, "Get out of here, you ugly woman," or whatever, right? He was very cruel. So he cruelly, unkindly, I guess you could say, rejected all their advances, right? So advances is 追求, huh? 追求. In other words, no, not this 求. 追求. No, 为什么? Why? 求饶. All right. So he rejected all their advances, okay? Their pursuit, okay? Right? Their love, let's say. Okay. Right. Not in a kind fashion, but in a cruel, very cruelly, 很残忍的, huh? 残忍地. Okay, right? 残酷地. Okay. Rejected all their advances. So one day Narcissus went hunting in the woods, as he likes to do. He was seen by Echo, who had secluded herself in the woods after being punished by Hera. This part is from another story, right? Echo immediately, okay? Immediately means right away. You have heard this word before, I know, okay? Echo immediately, right away, fell deeply in love with him. Mesmerized, easy word. Mesmerized. Mesmerized by his perfect beauty. To be mesmerized, you see this is a 被动的哈。Mesmerized means 被迷啊，被迷上，被迷住。OK， 被迷住。Yes, you say that. Yes. All right. Mesmerized by his perfect beauty. 被他的 perfect beauty 迷住啊。She followed Narcissus as he made his way through the woods. 他跟踪他 Lots of people doing that. All right, back in the days of Greek mythology. All right, so we have some interesting words, right? All these words are very cool. They are words that you've probably never heard before, but don't worry, we will review some of these words, okay, and then talk about other things too. All right, so the first thing to do is to work on how to read it. 我们先 try to read, make sure that you can read all the words, okay, and then work on the other things later, okay. All right, but most importantly, enjoy the story, okay. And we're going to ask some questions as well, okay? All right. And for example, who was Narcissus' mother? Right, what was her name? Okay. Do you remember that? What did Narcissus naturally have? In other words, what was he gifted with? Okay. All right. Number 3, what did the fortune teller say would happen if Narcissus saw himself? Right. The fortune teller told Liriope what would happen if Narcissus saw himself. Okay. And number 4, why did Narcissus reject all the advances from the people who loved him? There's a reason, right? And not that they were bad. There's a reason why he rejected them, okay? All of them, okay? And what was the reason, okay? And we will also review some of the vocabulary words that we talked about in the previous story, Echo, right? So as you can see, everything is related, 都有相关哈, right? Because first we talked about Zeus and Hera and how Zeus's affairs with nymphs and women led to Hera's suspicion. She followed him. He asked Echo to help him distract Hera. Hera finds out, punishes Echo, sends her and banishes her, condemns her to only repeat what was spoken to her. Echo was devastated, and then she hides in the forest. And then what happens? Here comes Narcissus, right, hunting in the forest. She sees him. They fall in, oh, no, sorry. She falls in love with him, okay? And everything is related, okay? Right, all right. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Please learn to read the story, watch it again. If anything, watch the beginning where I read the story, and then 念得顺, try to read it until it's 很顺, okay? Right? Okay, again, this guy's name is Narcissus. Just read Nar 大声 Sussis. Sis, like that. Narcissus. Okay, very simple. Okay, Nar, the 重音在 Nar. Narcissus. Okay, and then his mother's name, Liriope. Liriope. Okay, Liriope. All right, very good. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon in class.